Is this thing on? Welcome back to Big Mouth, and fancy seeing you here, and you are very welcome, my friends, and especially my enemies. Come in, sit down, grab a pew, and let's talk. And don't forget to follow me on Twitter. I'm at Movies TV Mad, because I really am mad about movies and TV. So 8 years ago today, Elizabeth Slayden died of cancer. And it was such a tragic loss for Doctor Who fans and to this wonderful industry. Liz Slayden played Sarah Jane Smith in Doctor Who. For me, personally, the best companion the show's ever seen, because she was the full package. She wasn't there just because she looked great, and she did look great. She was actually a character. Now, a lot of people talk about Doctor Who back then as being a sexist show. I don't really want to debate that. I mean, there was a lot of sexism in classic Who. There's no question about that. There's no point debating that. But Liz Slayden's Sarah Jane wasn't there to kind of give the audience cheap thrills. She was actually a really good actor. And her character, Sarah Jane, was brilliant. As I say, the full package. I think... I actually love Ace. I think Ace is a great companion, but I think Sarah Jane is the greatest. And throughout Doctor Who, by the way, I think she's just brilliant. And I think she'll always be remembered as the best companion and the most memorable companion. I think what proves this, in 2006, Russell T Davies, who relaunched Doctor Who, brought her back for a very special episode called School Reunion. But not only that, Russell created a spin-off Doctor Who series for her to be in, called The Sarah Jane Adventures. This was on the CBBC channel. But if you think just children were watching this, no way. Every fan of classic Who was watching that show. You know it. You know it's true. You know we were all watching it and feeling a bit kind of creepy for watching CBBC. But who cares? It was a great show. And it was for everyone. And the kids loved it as well. But, you know, if you're a classic Who fan, how can you not watch a show called The Sarah Jane Adventures? Liz left a mark. I remember her daughter coming on BBC Breakfast Time and talking about her after she died. I don't know what she thought of Doctor Who privately. She just thought it was a job that did well for her. I don't know. But what I do know is, publicly, she respected us. She respected the fans. She never disrespected us. She never came out and said silly things. She was a great kind of representation of Doctor Who. And it's funny when we talk about female representation and lots of things. I've just spoken about Doctor Who being sexist in the classic era. But ultimately, anything connected to Liz Slayden wasn't sexist. She was brilliant. In fact, she's a great representation of equality on Doctor Who. That's something they did right back then. No question about that. She was there for the character and for her talent. No other reason. And she was brilliant. And when I think back about Liz, I do think about her in School Reunion. I do think about her in the Sarah Jane Adventures and just remember how good she was at that character. I was so shocked when I heard she died. I remember that David Tennant himself, a self-confessed Doctor Who fan, by the way, wrote this wonderful monologue about her. It was freaking beautiful. I don't know if he wrote it himself, if he come up with the words, but it was freaking beautiful. If I knew it now, I'd recite it to you, because that's how beautiful it was. So everybody loved Liz. You know, anyone who loved this show, who was connected to this show, loved Liz Slayden. She was so important to Doctor Who and always will be. And I see now how we're all divided as fans, and we are, especially with what's happened with season 11 and Jodie being cast as the Doctor. But ultimately, I think we can all agree that Liz Slayden, I think, was the greatest companion. Now, if you don't remember her, then maybe she's not your favourite companion, and that's cool. Everyone has their favourite bits and pieces of Doctor Who or any long-running TV show. But Liz, I think, to the people who experienced her, Sarah Jane, was the greatest. You know, to think that she was John Pertwee's companion and Tom Baker's companion and That was really special. And, you know, she was there in two important eras. Tom Baker is probably the most popular doctor of all time, excluding David Tennant, of course, who was absolutely fantastic. So what do I say to Liz Slayden? Or what would I say to her if I could hear her? I'd just say, Liz, you mean a great deal to us, and you always will do. You were a very important part of Doctor Who. You showed that a woman could come onto the show and could be respected for what she did rather than what she looked like. And that was a very important time. It wasn't really a time where women were represented very well or respected very well. But Liz came on and commanded respect because of what she did and how she was written. I didn't really hear her say much about it, like many females do today, but she didn't have to. She did it. She was a strong female character. Without making a fuss, she was. She represented herself, Doctor Who, and other women the right way. And she lit the blue touch paper that would bring more strong female characters to Doctor Who. She was the reason that happened. When a new female companion came onto the new era, you always wondered, is this the next Sarah Jane? And I think that's the greatest compliment anyone could ever pay her. Sarah, Liz Slayden, you will never be forgotten.